to be politically oriented? Do you want a platform where you get updated with socio-political issues? Then Vigilance is the right place for you. Join Folashade Adebi every Fridays 4 p.m. WAT to discuss socio-political issues in society. Hello listeners, welcome to a brand new episode of Vigilance, a podcast where we discuss socio-political issues in society. Join me every Fridays for interesting and enlightening episodes. I am your host, Folashade Adebi. Or you can follow us for more updates by searching Veegil.com on your web browser, Veegil as in Veegil.com. You can also follow us on all our social media pages on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, Veegil Media, LinkedIn, Veegil, and Instagram, Veegil_media. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, listeners. On today's episode, I have with me Femi Abiodun. Femi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, in today's episode, we are discussing the topic duplication of agencies. The Buhari-led administration had faced critics ranging from insecurity, from debt, from unemployment, corruption, and a host of others. So over the past 2 tenures, the Buhari-led administration had created several commissions and agencies to ensure a smooth sail in his administration. In his first term as president, he had over 36 ministers and increased the number to 43 ministers, coupled with the country's high debt rate. Then on August 2019, the president created 5 ministries, namely the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Police Affairs, and Ministry of Special Duties and International Affairs. My question to you is, for a country deep in debt, is creating multiple agencies the right approach?
Okay, thank you for the question. Before I answer the question, because I will not be able to give you it yes or no. We need to look at where we are coming from, then be able to see if it's a right approach or not.
Okay.
In the first time of Mr. President, he had 36 ministers, and if you look at his predecessors, from Obasanjo, I think 49 in his 99, 2007 Yaradua, he had 39, and President Jonathan in 2011 he had 41. So, and looking at how the Mr. President President Buhari approached his campaign, he made it known that he's coming to fight corruption, which was major. So, if you look at it, he began by appointing 36 ministers. So if you look at that, it was commendable, judging from his stance on corruption. So definitely, I'm here to save money. I'm here to. It's no longer a business as usual. But at the end of the day, 36 ministers. It was commendable then, but on the contrary, they merged some very relevant and important ministries together, which was Ministry of Works, Ministry of Power, and Housing. So it was assigned, they merged it. So at the end of the day, they discovered that it was kind of a mistake, sort of, because power on its own, we need to understand that Nigeria is a developing country. So there are some ministries that are huge, so to speak, for us as a developing country. For instance, Ministry of Power, Works, because if you look at our roads, there are so many works to be done. There are so many roads to be. So when you look at those things, and you now compare it with merging ministries, you need to be very careful about that, because what you think might be small, the ministry that you think is not really, might be huge at the end of the day. So if you merge them, the task will be too enormous for them to do, and at the end of the day, they won't be able to achieve much. So if you are looking at it from the point of saving money without having too much ministries and too much budget allocations to different ministries, definitely it's a welcome idea. That is a very good approach. You can save money from it. But at the same time, we need to understand that we are still a developing nation. There are so many things to be touched. We have power and everything. So if you look at it from that angle also, definitely we need to look at it critically before we can merge ministries. So for instance, now, maybe if you can have like a humanitarian ministry joined with that special duties, you know, or probably the special duties and international, it can be joined with foreign affairs. So far it has to do with international relationship or something like that. So we can match those ones together. It's realistic. So some ministries that are similar, we can merge them. But combining ministries based on, I want to save money, might not work out, because at the end of the day, you discover that there are so many work to be done, and assigning those ministries to only one person, one minister, will be a huge task.
Femi, cut in here. You made mention of merging leaving the important ministries, so to say, leaving the important ministry as just a ministry, and the not much important, the one that doesn't have much importance, and merging them together. So that will bring me back to my other question. So are we saying that the government is creating ministries that we don't need? So according to a report by Budget, they reviewed that the 2021 budget had at least 316 duplicated capital projects worth 39.5 billion, with 115 of the duplicated projects occurring in the Ministry of Health. So is this like creating a case for loophole for corruption, or creating these multiple projects, like creating these multiple ministries, breaking it down, we help him have a smooth sail administration?
Okay, thank you for that question. If you look at that critically, I won't say any ministry is not important. Before you can create a ministry, definitely there must be a purpose for that. There must be something attached to that. Like I remember the case of Niger Delta, Minister of Niger Delta. That time, there were agitations. Even President Obasanjo was very skeptical about the ministry, but it took the Senate to take a stand on that and say, no, the ministry must go ahead. Because we need to understand something in Nigeria, that this is a country with diversities. We have so many things, just like different tribes, everybody coming together to form a nation. So we need to be very sensitive. They need to be very, very aware of some issues that lead to ministries. Like that Niger Delta, for instance, there were agitations in Niger Delta. That was where Nigeria was getting the money from. That's oil being
the oil ministry.
You understand? So definitely from Niger Delta, they were complaining that they leave their region unattended to. There are any the byproduct of this mining of all this crude oil, those things, environmental hazards for them, and they were complaining bitterly that they are not even seeing the money that they are getting from their region. So there was need for that. But ordinarily, someone from outside can just say, what is the need for Ministry of Niger Delta? Is that not a waste? So we need to be able to accommodate some of these things into our reasoning, into our discussions when we are holding before the ministry comes into a manifestation. So now talking about the loopholes, definitely, well, everybody was aware of budget padding. Definitely,
yes.
in the first time of, I think it was the first budget that Mr. President Buhari presented to the National Assembly. You know, that was the term that accompanied the budget padding that time. But the thing is, at this point, the Senate, they have one or two things to do in all this. They have a role to play in this, because if you remember, like that Ministry of Health presenting there were so many duplications in their budget allocations. Definitely, there are house committees on health that we're supposed to look into that. And definitely, I believe also that EFCC too is an institution that is supposed to look into corruption cases. And so, if all these things are happening, it should be able to trigger the EFCC into action. And like,
let's take a look into this.
Let's take action on this so-called ministry. How did you arrive at this? How did you arrive at your figures? So it will take the House Committee on Health to raise their line, and EFCC takes action. So that is why I'm an advocate of EFCC being an independent body, independent, so to speak. They need to give them that independence so that once there is need for them to come into any situation, they will come in without any.
So you said EFCC should be an independent body. So does it mean even going after the big names? Femi, do you get my question?
Can you come again, please?
So you said EFCC should be an independent commission. So does it mean going after people in government?
Okay, not, it's their work. I think there's an EFCC Act, so they know their role, they know what the mission is. So if whether you are a government worker or you belong to any, so far you fall into the category of those that needs to be prosecuted, or if you are found wanting, definitely they should step in and do their job. Are you getting it? So that's what I'm trying to say about EFCC coming in, because we can't continue to have all this padding in budget and nobody is talking about it. We need to have people answering questions. Who prepared the budget? Who prepared the budget in your ministry? How did he arrive at the figures? Was there any influence? Was there anything? Because you see as committees at times when they are screening the budgetary you see them coming out and saying some things, making some revelations about the budget that it has to go through so many tables before it is being approved, and then Mr. President comes to submit it to the National Assembly. So definitely, so many people have gone through it. So there should be questions. There should be questions raised from those things, and then who prepared it, who went through it, who edited it. So from there, they can be able to. So if people are being held accountable for their offices, whether you are a manager or you are a director or you are a permanent secretary, if you know that once you make a mistake or something, that you will be called for question
for it.
Then definitely everybody will sit up, and then there won't be any issue of budget padding or duplication in the budget.
Okay, thank you, Femi, for your answers. My next question is actually, so do you think the National Assembly can help tackle this duplication issue? Maybe amending the laws governing agencies.
Okay. Yes, like I very well, they have a role to play because just like I said, for the case of Ministry of Health that you pointed out that they had some duplication of their budgetary. The House, the National Assembly, they have a role to play, and how do they come in? Definitely, they have different committees in both the upper chamber and the lower chamber. They have house committees on health, on petroleum, and what have you. So now, what they need to do is they are closer to these ministries, these house committees. They are very close to them in the sense that they at times they request for documents of transactions, and at times they monitor whether the budget is being funded for each ministry. So they are very close to these people. There's a way they can get some facts from them. Oh, they are not doing their work. Oh, they came to defend the budget, and at the end of the day, what we have there is nothing. They have not even started anything. They have not even gotten to 10% of execution of the budget. So what the House will do now is that, okay, having those facts, they can gather those things in conjunction with other committees to the National Assembly, to the main hearing, as in where the Senate President or House will be, and then they can deliberate on it, and that can inform them to maybe have a bill, or maybe if there is an existing law that guides maybe all these agencies, they can have it and say, okay, you know what, this ministry is not doing anything as far as we are concerned, because we have paid close attention to them, and we have seen that they are not really productive. They came here the last time to defend their budget, that this is what they want to do, and at the end of the day, they cannot do anything. And even the federal government is even having difficult time to fund their budgets. So that means they are not that important. So if possible, they can come out with a bill to say any ministry that fails to meet up with maybe 30% of their budgetary implementation or something. If you fail to meet that, then we will have to consider you by merging you.
Okay.
You don't necessarily scrap them. Maybe they can merge them with others. So then you can now use the word, maybe they are not that relevant or they are not that important. So because if you say it from here, like me, I don't know most things going on in the ministries. I only depend on the news I get from probably the news media and them. But the Senate, they are closer to them. The committees, they demand, they monitor the activities, what they are doing, so they can come together now and say, oh, this ministry is not productive. And they don't have the power to stop them. They can only make laws. So they can now initiate a bill and say, okay, for this, because of this, we have to have there will be a law that if a ministry is not that productive, it cannot deliver maybe 40%, maybe you can set a benchmark of 40%, for instance. If you cannot implement 40% of your budget allocation, then you are not listening, you ought to be matched. So with that can even help in putting everybody to work, because you don't want your ministry you don't want probably you are a power secretary. You don't want you to be when your own turn as a permanent secretary, for instance. It's when you were there that they now say, oh, this ministry is not relevant. So let's match them. So these are the things that can even stop this corruption. These are the part of things that can stop this corruption. And with the
AFCC, holding them accountable for their actions, we stop corruption.
Exactly.
Thank you for your thoughts, Femi. So that will be all on today's episode. To join in the ongoing debate, kindly drop your comment on the platform Veegil.com. Endeavor to share this podcast with your friends, family, and loved ones. For our YouTubers, kindly like, share, comment, subscribe, and click on the notification button for more updates. Bye.